Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker here with you for another one of our great sessions. Always excited to be here with my guys. The heart of the matter. Uh, Great men doing great things. Just really what it boils down to. We are three men, three generations, three stories, one heart coming together with a desire to be the difference. And so our topic this evening, today, that we're going to talk about is a good one. Sometimes your best is not enough, and I'll just turn it over to Dre. You get us going, my man.
It sounds good, man. It's an honor to facilitate this and kind of lead this discussion tonight. So I'll start off with the first question. I'll take the lead and answer it, and then you guys can kind of piggyback and share your thoughts. And once again, the questions are just kind of a guideline, so we can kind of take it wherever it goes. And so the first question is: have you ever felt like your best isn't enough? If so, what did you experience? What did that experience feel like for you? And I'll start off with my experience. So recently, this past summer, I had high aspirations. I was so excited about speaking in the education market. And I can remember to a program, which is this guy. He has this like program where he trains speakers on how to speak in the education market and get compensated for their time. And I put a good amount of money into it, and and I want to say this is no shade to his program, but just from my personal experience, me trying to implement some of the strategies that he provided did not work for me. And I kind of want to just kind of go in detail. So I emailed, man, thousands of educators, right? I have called a lot of educators. I tried cold calling, I've tried the email, and I've also just tried reaching out to volunteer my time. And I want to speak to one particular experience because it was a little heartbroken for me. So I called, it was a summer program, and I called them before the summer program even started. It started in June. I was probably in contact with them around April. And I finally was able to get in touch with somebody, and the director transitioned me over to, I think she was like the SEL director. And when that happened, she was like, "You're going to come on this date." And I said, "Okay." And what I did was I spent money to go out and get a professional videographer. I mean, this guy was really, really good. So I was like, you know what? This is something I wholeheartedly believe in, and I'm willing to invest into myself. And I still am to this very day. But once again, just sharing that experience, she canceled on me. Once I was upset, kind of frustrated, and I was practicing. I'm talking about in the mirror, what I'm going to say, how it's going to go. I was feeling good. I was like, it's going to be with me. Here's my chance. And that when she canceled on me the second time, she canceled on me again. And I was like, I was so devastated. I mean, I had put money to the website, the whole nine. And on top of that, I had to do a podcast that day. I had to get interviewed by somebody on their podcast. And I kind of had to suppress my emotions because I didn't want to be emotional on the show. So I had to get my stuff together. I had to write emotions together. And that's the reason I chose this topic. I had to like strategically move differently. And that's when I already had the podcast, but I said what I'm going to do now is still get my credentials, right? Still go to school, get my education, but now I'm going to create a platform where I can build relationships with other educators. I can be able to solidify these relationships, and now I've had the opportunity. I have the opportunity now to go speak at this upcoming summer where superintendents will be there. So I'm really excited about that. But my focus had to change, and although I put all my energy into all the strategies that he provided, I put my best. It just wasn't enough at that time during that season. But now it's like, all right, I know that wasn't enough, but what can I do to move the needle forward strategically so that I can speak and so I can get these opportunities. And now I do, people are knowing who I am and people are aware. And now I have the opportunity to speak at a conference. And I know it's only going to go up from here, just continue to solidify those relationships and being in the school environment. So I think that, yeah, there's times where our best is not enough. And I think that that's when, people need to really hear that, the real. You can put your 100 into all of it, and then you still might not get the outcome. But then it's like, now you have to strategically think, okay, this is not working. What else? What do I need to do? Like a trial and error to kind of move the experience. I know mine was like, it was heartbroken. It was. And that's why I felt compelled to share that tonight, because I don't think people talk about, go work hard. But sometimes you work hard, you might not get that outcome when you want it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good, Dre. That's a great example. I think that's I think that probably resonates with a lot of listeners. I know it does with me. Sometimes you can be the right person, but like you said it in your statement, the wrong season.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you're the right. It didn't mean you're not the right. It doesn't mean you're not the right person. It's just not the right season. And I love how you reframe that. You realize that you gotta look at re-strategize. I mean, you go back, you got to pick yourself up. It's not, I used to tell my players, it's not that you get knocked down, because you're going to get knocked down, but how fast do you get back up? That's the question. Get off the ground. I remember
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a person that was really disappointed in a job that he didn't get. And he just didn't, he let it become an obstacle, and it started hindering, everything else he had to do, all this other responsibility. It carried over into, and I said, you remind me of somebody that got knocked down, and you're getting up, but you're getting up real slow. I mean, so anyway, it's not always easy to dust yourself off and just keep moving. But man, Dre, I really appreciate that story, because I think there's a lot of people that need to hear that.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. And that's why I wanted to share it, because, like I said, a lot of people, they get knocked down because they put their heart and soul into. I mean, to think about it, like when you're working hard, I mean, not only are you like physically invested, but you're emotionally invested, you're mentally invested, and you just have all this hope. And then it's kind of like when your dreams don't come into fruition,
Yeah.
like during that season, hard, and I don't know if enough people, if enough conversation and dialogue is around, like when you do get knocked down, you still have to pick yourself back up and think about how to strategically move. Because if you can put all your energy into different things, right? But is that really the smartest move? You know what I'm saying? Like you have to like put your energy into what is actually going to work, and that just comes from trial and error. So
Yeah. Yeah. Chip, how about you, brother?
yeah, yeah, Chip. I was about to ask, what about you, man? You
Uh
have an
yeah.
experience that you would like to share?
I do, man. Just hearing, I don't, this cuts tough for me because, when you look at our lives and you reflect on the things that we grow through in our life, every day is an opportunity for us to learn from the things that we're not good at, right? And
Yeah.
so, and I'm an acronym guy, so I'm going to share this acronym with you that I have, and it's BBFBL. Okay, the acronym is BBFBL. And what that means is biggest blessings from biggest lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen.
and and
Yeah.
so the lessons, the biggest, toughest, hardest, cut us to the core, really hurt us, knock us down lessons that we grow through in our life. And at the end of the day, when we pick ourselves up and learn, it really becomes the biggest blessings for us in our life,
That's
right?
real.
And so for me, that experience, it's been several, but I'll share one because Doc, shared about him being a, coach and talking to the players. It made me think about college. My initial goal was to make it to the NFL, and so I can take care of mama, right? And so at the end of the day, what really happened was I wasn't good enough to play on the next level, right? So I ended up, doing some things in college, but the jump from there to the next level, well, that's a little different over there, right?
Right.
And so in examining the background of that, I looked at like growing up in high school, I chose at a young age to not put bad stuff in my body. I chose at a young age to go be all in, to give everything I got to it, because I know on the other end of it, if I give my all to it, well, I'm going to receive the maximum benefits from that,
Right.
which will allow me to take care of my family like I want to, right? And so what ended up happening is I was focused, I was driven, I sacrificed a lot. But then when it didn't all work out, man, I was cut to the core. I was hurt, right? But like I said, biggest blessings from biggest lessons. Um, Sometimes, and I'm just gonna say it how it is, y'all. Sometimes y'all ain't good enough.
Yeah, that's real, and that's
I
real.
mean,
That's
so
real.
I mean, regardless of what you do, like I'm telling y'all, man, like in the summer, I worked out 2 and 3 times a day. I had on top of having a job, like all of those things, I gave my all to it. But here's what happens though. When you get to that point and you have to make a decision or pivot or pick yourself back up, what you understand is that it's not winning and losing, it's winning and learning.
Mm,
If you
mm,
have the proper perspective. Come on, Dre.
yes.
Come on, Dre.
Hey, man, you just said a
Hey,
word.
man, come on. And so it's not winning and losing, it's winning and learning. And so along those lessons and growing through that, man, I've created some great relationships. Teammates are forever. I've had some of my biggest opportunities to speak and do character development from some of my teammates that I met in college, you know, a long time ago. And so you develop those relationships, you get experiences. I was able to travel some places where mama couldn't afford to take me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know and so along that journey, although it was super tough for me, the pivot, the get back up, the being broken, the being hurt, like I started when I was saying that, BBFBL, biggest blessings from the biggest lessons. And it's allowed me to be driven. It was one thing that happened to me within that where I felt that I really wasn't communicated to effectively. Like what I brought to the table didn't even matter, it seemed like, right? And so I learned that as a coach, I need to make sure I communicate with my players effectively. I need to let them know why I'm making these decisions, right? I need to let them in on it and not just do what I need to do because it's going to affect them in their life. And so I apologize, man, but I'm very passionate about this one.
Now let's go,
so,
Chip. Let's go,
so,
Chip.
so,
Hey,
so,
Chip, let's go.
I don't think there's any topic that you're not passionate about,
let's
brother.
go.
Hey, that's the heart of the matter right there, brother.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Hey, I got an acronym for you.
Come on.
IAGDTBA.
Come on.
It's a great day to be alive, brother. It is a great day to be alive. That got me through a lot of 100-degree, 100% humidity practices. And when things don't seem like they're going your way, you just have to be reminded that this is the day. that, and so, but Chip, and Dre, sometimes you gotta remember that, and what we're really talking about is resilience too. And where does that come from? I mean,
Yeah.
what there has to have been some people in your life that modeled that for you. We don't, as you said, winning and learning, you learn that from somebody. You saw that. I mean, granted, some of it is innate, but I think in most cases it's been a foundational lesson for you somewhere by someone. But
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's real. That's good stuff, guys. So our next question is, what do you feel like is the root cause of feeling like your best isn't enough? I'll start off with the answer on that one. I think about it. I think sometimes when what's the root of that? Like kind of thinking like on a deeper level. I the results like my effort and my work ethic is attached to the results. And so if I'm not getting the outcome, and that's just with anything, if I'm not getting the outcome that I want or the results that I'm looking, then I'm thinking, in my mind, I think that my best is not enough. Or emotionally be an attached to the results. Or maybe it could be me comparing myself to other people. I might look at this individual and say, hey, they are here and they are my age, and they're doing it 10 times better than I am, and that's where I think can be the root of me not feeling like my best is not enough and just really being trans. What about you guys? What do you guys think in any experience where the root, or what is the root of that feeling that you feel like your best is not enough? If you've
Doc, you
ever
want to jump on
experienced.
that first, Doc?
yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it can be, um, we allow an outside source in negativity to, I mean, let's just face it. Like Chip says, sometimes in that scenario or that circumstances, um, we're just not good enough. But there's also the outside influences that we sometimes allow. We hear that voice that says you're not fast enough, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. Who do you think you are? What makes you think that you? I think some of that is an influence that keeps us from being the very best we can. We may not be good enough to make it to the NFL, but we can be as good as we possibly can, and and because of that, we journey farther as far as we maximize our potential. So many people, as you guys know this, so many people just that regardless of whether they ever make it to their final destination, they stop way short of their potential, whatever their potential is in that circumstance. So
That's real.
And that's what I love about being in education is that, and I love that you guys are, involved in education in different ways, but is this influence that Chip writes about and speaks about, and the influence that you want to have, Dre, as a supporter of educators and the importance that you see in education, and it's just this positive influence. And so we've got to I guess we have to be careful of who we surround ourselves with and what we're listening to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was good stuff. That was good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Chip?
I mean, I think it's layers to it, Dre. I think just me personally, I always I'm gonna go music on you. for me, I always start with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Oh, that's Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but for me, I think it starts with the mindset. I think the mindset is a piece, and Doc hit on that some too. You know, how you view what you do will always affect how you do what you do, and you have to attack it in a manner of having the proper perspective and the proper mindset. Right. I think the next thing that causes us to feel that like our best isn't good enough is the production. You know, when you look at yourself, you know, you see like, ooh, messed that up. You know, ooh, that was not good. You know, and so when you look at the production on that, you know, and then going back to the mindset, you have to be committed to the process. And like you said earlier, Dre, not be caught up in the results, right? Because when you're committed to the process, you're going to win either way because you're going to continue to get better, right? And you're in the moment each day. And in those moments, you do great things and it becomes magic moments. Those magic moments make magic memories, right? Regardless of the scoreboard, did I get better today? And so I think that when you have the proper mindset, um, when you know you're gonna look at the production because you know you set goals to do those things, but I think the focus has to be on the process, and not so much the result from it. Of course, we want the results, we want the goals. Of course, we want to do all of those things, but man, if I have to take 10 steps and I slip on a banana peel on my second step, well, I'll never get to the 10th step. And so I have to make sure that each step that I take, each moment of each day is on point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. When you talk about the process, I think you made a really good point. I really like how you worded that, not being attached to the results, but you're attached to the process. It reminds me of the speaker Inky Johnson. I'm not sure if you guys heard of him, but he talks a lot
Oh
about the
yeah,
process.
that's my guy. Love Inky.
Yeah, I saw him live a few times. He's from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
we,
But yeah, the process a lot. And
you know, you
I
know,
think that's really good.
Dre, that, we talk, when I talk about play, that third step of play, again, I'm an acronym guy too, Chip, is
So,
acknowledgement.
mm,
So what is it that you have to, sometimes you have to acknowledge, like you said, what it's easy to acknowledge as Chip said, the result, the end game, but what are you acknowledging along the way? And what are the pitfalls that are in front of you, or what is it, where have you, in the and falling, what did you learn, acknowledging that, and again, I think sometimes we just react, and that's good, but most times if we react and just run into the burning building without acknowledging what needs to be done, and I think that's that process, acknowledging the process that you guys have talked about. So so a question, a lot of times I ask people is, what is it, or who is it that you need to acknowledge in this journey? And so sometimes that helps you get back to that.
when you
Uh,
help me out, Jeff, go ahead.
no,
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 oh, when you say acknowledge, what can you explain that a little bit further? What do you mean when you say acknowledge?
yeah. I think, Dre, there's a lot of things that we just stuff. We don't. We just move on, and
Mm,
like pain and sorrow and hurt and wounds and failure, we acknowledge a lot of things that are surface, like the end result, like a victory or a loss, but how about what happens in between, as Chip was talking, the journey. And if you don't acknowledge a failure, then you can't make a plan for a success. So I mean, if you're going to continue to do what you've always done, that's the same. You're just going to get the same results. And and I but I think there's also an knowledge of reality sometimes, is that you have to, now I have to, like we've said in so many different ways now, pivot, rebrand, renew, refresh, so, I was a principal for 14 years. You think I could do the same thing for 14 years? Every year you have to rebrand. Every year you have to renew. You have to, so part of that is acknowledging that fact. And if you don't, which is what happens to a lot of people, you become disengaged, and a lot of things we're talking about tonight becomes the result. I don't know if that helps you or not. So we,
and it's kind of going off. No, it does. It explains it well. How long are we supposed to? I forgot how long we said we agreed to. Did we say to 9:00? I don't know which time we said. I forgot. I just want to make sure I'm being considerate of everybody's time.
Oh, I'm good, man. But I know that we want, Chip, we want to keep it around 20, 25, 30.
Yes, sir. Yes, max. Sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we need to start wrapping it up.
I'm okay if you want to go one more question, Dre.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I have this, and I think this is important. This is kind of off the questions that I originally had, but Chip, you said something interesting, and Jeff, you said something interesting. You said, acknowledging and basically being aware, I guess, of what's working and what's not working. That's how I perceived it. And Chip, you said that when you were playing, football, you had this dream of making it to the NFL, but you mentioned that it didn't happen for you. When does it come a time when you say, this may not be possible for me in this lifetime? Like, how do you accept reality? Like, is it when you say you're not passionate about it anymore? Because and I think about the NFL, prime example. A lot of guys, they work really hard, and some of them never make it. So when do you accept the reality when you say, okay, you're not good enough, and you tried to pivot, you tried to change, Jeff? You tried to rebrand, you tried to refresh, and things aren't happening. And some people are at it. I've heard people, like for music, for example, some people say they had it for 20 years, and it never happened for them. So when I have to say, dang, I'm not good enough, and I need to switch and pivot to maybe something else that will better suit that individual. Like, and I don't know. I don't know. That question just came to my mind. So what do you guys think?
Doc, you want to go first?
Okay, let me just make sure that I understand what you're asking. So at what point is that what you're asking? At what point? How far do you go down that road, I guess? And Dre, am I understanding?
Yeah, basically. Right, basically, until you say this may not be for me.
I think this sounds like, I guess, kind of cliche, but when you just know when you know. If you're in tune, if you're, I mean, everybody has their go-to, and I'll just have to say that every time I've faced something like this, and we could talk all night about struggles and disappointments, and I've had them. I mean, but as Chip said, the blessing, the biggest, loss can also turn out to be the biggest blessing. I wouldn't be here tonight. I wouldn't be on the screen with you tonight if it wasn't for some turning events in my career and my life and so forth. Just, so what sometimes we think is the worst, I mean, the absolute worst thing that ever happened to us in our lives. And in the midst of it, no way could you ever explain it or understand why. But you come out of it most people come out of it. And this too shall pass. This too shall pass in good times and bad times. So just get ready. I mean, I've never been the sky is falling person. I always believe that, and I don't believe in the good old days. The good old days are right now. I do not believe. I just cannot. I'm not. Woe is me, and the sky is falling, or or the good old days. I just don't believe that. So I think that has a lot to do, like Chip said, mindset, your mindset, but also is your foundation and what you're grounded in. And we're basically all night long talking about disappointment and how do we overcome that. And my strength comes from having a God in my life that I lean on, and so my faith has and here on earth I had a father that modeled that for me. So I was blessed, and what I worry about, the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings who have experienced success in everything they've done, and then they stub their toe and hit their head for the first time, and they think, or they just get out of college and they apply for the first job and they don't get it, and they think the world's come to an end. And little do they know, if you had any idea how many jobs I didn't get. I mean, if you had any idea, and so it all goes back again to resilience and leaning on people and leaning on something that's bigger than you, as far as I'm concerned.
That's real. That's real. That's good stuff.
Man, Dre, I think I think the question you ask is really deep. And I think it's really deep because we all, I don't care who you are, we all will experience it in our lives. At some point, everybody will experience that in their life. And I think for me, it's kind of a process. I think first, you see the signs, like you see, you see the signs, you see those things. I think the ultimate measure for me is growth. Am I having, are we having team growth? Am I having personal growth? Am I growing in relationships? Is it an environment that's conducive to growth, for growth? And so I think for me, growth is the measure, right? And then if there is no growth, well, that's not a good thing, right? And so then now I got to make a decision and put myself in a situation where there will be growth. And what happens is, going back to the mindset piece, understanding that going into it in any situation, there is no losing. Hold on, I'm gonna give you that one again. In every situation, we will not lose, right? Right. And so what I mean by that is we will have continued growth. We will continue to get better. We will do things the right way. We will work hard. We will take care of business. We will treat people right. We will have a good time, right? There is no losing, right? And so you have to say, I control my destiny, right? Just like Doc said, like, I'm not blaming, no excuses, nobody. No, it's me. Like, I take full responsibility of the winning that we're gonna have, right? I take full responsibility. And I think when you can do that and look at that, it allows you to first be confident in what you're doing, because without a shadow of a doubt, you're going above and beyond to do it the right way. I think the next piece of that is, within that, you exercise gratitude because you're truly grateful for the opportunity to be in those shoes, the opportunity to have the opportunity, right? And so that excites you every day. when you go in with that mentality. And so at the end of the day, regardless of the situation, like I said, there is no losing. You win and learn. And so, you look at the growth and then continue to put yourself in a situation where there will be growth. Like that's kind of a non-negotiable. Like we're gonna have growth. Like like this go.
Right.
We're gonna get better every day. So like we're gonna work hard and get better and have a good time that's a non-negotiable. We're gonna do that.
I think another thing is, Chip, and I love that. It kind of reminds me. I mean, we should have renamed this "The Heart of the Matter" and Acronyms 101. But so here's another one: GIT, greatest impact today. So what is it? What is it? And if it's not growth and it's not making an impact, then what is it that's going to be the greatest impact today? And some people will say, well, how do I figure that out? That's when you go back to the Chip's, what's the measurement, and are you growing? Are the people around you growing? I love that. Are you making a difference? Are you making even if it's incremental? And don't get in the comparison game. I mean, here's what happens. A guy says, I'm going to go to the gym and work out, and he hadn't worked out in years. And what's the first thing we do?
Yeah. When you get in the gym, you get discouraged when you start. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happens? And so you work out, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a week. And a month later, you got growth, but you're still looking at the guy next to you. It's not where he started. It's where you started. So, yeah.
Amen.
No, that's I like that analogy. And I'll say this. I think and I think one thing too that has helped me with the comparison is that when I even think the slightest idea of comparing myself to other people, usually it comes from really not in real life, usually on Instagram. That is when my creative juices start flowing. And I start getting on Canva and I start going crazy with my branding, and just I start coming up with different phrases. I start coming up with other ideas because comparison is a thief of joy. So that may be able to help somebody out there. If you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, in that moment you have to say, okay, am I going to continue to compare myself to other people, like putting my energy towards that? Or I'm going to put my energy towards building something that's great and that's going to make an impact and that's going to make a difference. And God will work everything out. But I just know that even in that the slightest moment when I think or if I get that feeling, all right, I'm about to get on Canva, I'm about to start going crazy with these graphics, or I'm about to come up with some more ideas on how I can brand the schoolhouse and make it relatable and make it continue to jump, So and that can help somebody out there, because I know that a lot of people struggle with comparison, and some people will post things in our society. In today's time, like they'll post a picture on Facebook or Instagram, mainly Instagram, and if they don't get enough likes or comments, then they delete it because they're looking at the other person. They got like 1,000 plus likes, and so I just hope that maybe I don't know if that was off topic or not, but I hope it helps somebody out there that maybe struggle with comparison.
Yeah, I think that's good, Dre. That's really good. Sometimes I think there's I don't know if it's a 5-second rule or what, but when you go, I think it's good to, as long as you're motivated by other people, that you're inspired by other people, and you don't, and just maybe for 5 seconds you do that comparison thing, but it's not that you go there, you just can't stay there.
Exactly.
And that's part of that acknowledgement. That's an acknowledgement piece, is go, man, Dre, I love his brand. Oh my gosh, Chip, he's doing all these great things. Okay, well, I'm not Chip. I'm not Dre. I'm Jeff. I got to do my thing. But we're all doing great things, but they don't have to be the same things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's real.
I think people get stuck there. They don't get out of that. They go past that
Yeah.
5-second rule.
I love that, Doc. It's prime analogy.
That's real good. That's good stuff.
And I use this too, like you're looking at like an author, like I'm an author, right? And so I've published, man, like 13 books, right? And for me, like growing up, I wasn't around people that wrote books. I didn't know anybody that was an author growing up, right? And so for me, that's an amazing feat. Like for me, like it's still like when I look at my books now, like that's my name on that book.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
wow. Like
Yeah.
it blows me away. But like, what if I compared that to like John Gordon or John Maxwell or like I'm nowhere close to what any of those guys have done. And I could say, well, man, I'm not good enough. No, really, for me to have one book with my name on it, like a real book with a real ISBN number, you know, like for me to have that, like that is an amazing feat. And so that lets me know right there that I'm enough, right? But then it also makes me hungry too, because I also see what it could be,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so the
Yeah.
competitor in
Yeah.
me is like, hey, what you gonna do now, Chip? You know? And
Yeah.
so you push
Yeah.
yourself to be the best version
Yeah.
of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. That's good stuff, guys. I love that. I love how optimistic you guys were. I think this was pretty good.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I guess I'll close. You want me to close us out, Dre? I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I'll close us out. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, I love for each of you guys to share with people can find you with your social media, because I think the schoolhouse is jumping. I think people need to hear about Suit Up Ministries and the new book.
In the new book. That's right.
Yes.
The one book, Chip, the one book.
And it's amazing.
Hey, and it has my name on it.
It has your name on it.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And
Well,
there
y'all
won't
share where people can go follow you and show you some love.
Yeah, you can go to it's Suit Up Ministries, SUITUP Ministries plural.org, Suit Up Ministries, or you can email me at jeff@suitupministries.org. So yeah, thanks, Chip.
Yes, sir. Dre, what about you, my man?
So you all can follow me, Mr. Schoolhouse, everything, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, the whole nine, Mr. Schoolhouse.
There it is. And then I am at Chip Baker TSC, as in the Success Chronicles. All of my social media is that, except for Twitter, and it's Chip Baker 19. So another great session about these great men. Guys, again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to do it, the heart of the matter. And thank you guys for checking out this session. We'll see you next time. God bless.